Identity is a hot topic these days, and for good reason. When working with clients who live with DID, it's essential to understand identity at a deeper level, particularly both where it comes from and how it develops. Let's take a few minutes to explore the fundamentals of identity through a clinical and trauma-informed lens. Number one, what do we mean by personal identity? When we're born, we don't have a sense of personal identity. That's why Elmo from Sesame Street refers to himself in the third person. He mirrors how others refer to him, which is developmentally appropriate for a 2-year-old. Over time, and with the presence of consistent, attuned caretakers, a child gradually forms a cohesive sense of self. This identity becomes the foundation for how we understand ourselves throughout our lives. But when caregivers are abusive, neglectful, or unsafe, that process can be disruptive. As a survival strategy, the child may begin to disassociate. In extreme cases, the dissociation becomes so prevalent that the child forms multiple identities rather than a singular identity. Dissociative barriers are then formed between the identities, which help compartmentalize the trauma. If these distinct identities remain present and active in adulthood, the person may meet the criteria for dissociative identity disorder. Number two, neurodivergent versus neurotypical. In the mental health field, we've begun to recognize and affirm the concept of neurodiversity, particularly regarding autism. People on the spectrum are no longer viewed as broken or abnormal, but as neurodivergent individuals with differently structured brains. This shift away from pathologizing differences toward understanding them has opened the door for more inclusive, affirming care. I believe this same shift is long overdue in our understanding of DID. Number three, singular identity versus multiple identities. In the same way that we've begun to reframe neurodivergence as a natural variation rather than a pathology, I believe we need to shift our perspective on individuals diagnosed with DID. There's no clinical evidence suggesting that people with multiple identities are incapable of leading meaningful, successful lives. Disassociation was a functional, adaptive response to overwhelming trauma, and it allowed the person to survive. Therefore, the goal of therapy should not be to change someone with multiple identities into someone with a singular identity. That's not only unrealistic, it can be harmful. Instead, therapy should support the system in developing internal communication, cooperation, and co-consciousness. The aim is to help the person organize their internal world in a way that works for them, on their own terms, so they can move toward the fulfilling life they deserve. Shifting how we think about identity, particularly in the context of DID, can be challenging. The dominant culture and the medical model strongly reinforce the idea of a singular self. But embracing multiplicity as valid and functional can transform the therapeutic process. Ultimately, it supports one of our most essential clinical principles, client self-determination. If you'd like to explore these ideas further and learn practical strategies for working with multiplicity, you can order your copy of An Introductory Clinical Guide to Dissociative Identity Disorder using the link below. Thanks for watching, and thank you for doing this important work.